All right. Welcome again to How to Create Custom Social Media Assets in Minutes using Brandserv. I am Bob Albin. I am the marketing specialist for the Houston Metro. As part of the awesome Texas marketing team, we've got Caitlin from Austin and Laura from Dallas-Fort Worth with us. We're here teaching these classes at 10 and 2 on the first 4 weeks of every month on a variety of subjects, as well as Claire Rogers is our social media expert specialist. And of course, we can't go without acknowledging our FMMs that work so hard. Taylor in Houston, Talia in Austin, and Clarissa in Dallas-Fort Worth. So we're going to go and talk about Brandserv. So Brandserv gives you the ability to download company and brand logos, brand photography, customize and post social media assets, download virtual meeting backgrounds, even customize national TV campaigns. The best of all, it's free by and large. I will say that if you're going to start dealing with some video assets, then being able to merge them and access them and customize them does have a cost involved. So we're not going to really go into too much of that today because this is an overview and show you how to use it. And so Brandserv also hosts a lot of the materials you may have heard about on Net 10 News or CB Briefs or in your wanderings around desk, like the St. Jude efforts and CB Good News and COVID-19 and quotables. Those kinds of things are all there. And because of that, and I really want to stress how easy it is to use this, we're just going to go straight into the program. I really have nothing else to put on a slide, so we're going to dive right in. So Brandserv is one of the tiles on your desk, as is always necessary. We also remind you on almost every class that you always need to make sure your profile is fully filled out with your photos and your contact information, where it asks for social media assets and all those kinds of things, because it's just good policy to do that. You'll be able to access Brandserv and then its own help center by clicking there. We'll talk about that at the end of the class. So we're going to click in. If you have never been in Brandserv, there may be a verification process that you need to do, but most of us have gone in for something, even if it's just for an AMP or another class. And this is what you should see. And it's really simple. I have, over the past month or so, in talking with a lot of agents, have talked about, well, transferring skills from one program to another is awfully easier, a lot easier than trying to think, oh my God, I've got to learn this whole thing. So one of the skills that we've all learned during COVID is how to shop online. So I'm going to try to point out some places where that shared skill set that everybody sort of developed with that finger and your credit card comes into play in this Brandserv. So excuse me if I pop in with a few little comments about what the process is that you normally do in shopping for things and how it relates to Brandserv and the process you go through. So here on the dashboard, we see a bunch of information. We see things like campaigns, marketing assets, and resources. And then down here, the latest and greatest ones that they're pushing out as we speak for tactics, which tends to be all the programs that you can access. The campaigns, which are multi-level campaigns like St. Jude and Good News and things like that. Brand assets tend to be things, and marketing assets in accompanying form would be things like photos and logos and things that have been created. And then recently viewed, and of course, if you've been in here before, you probably have some recently viewed. So a lot of the things up here are pretty simple and involve what we're searching for and things like that. The only thing profile wise and administration wise is if you go up here and you do my profile, the main thing that you want to do is make sure your information is correct. And then the other thing right here is the communication setting. And this is really the only thing I have found that is sort of important if you're going to use Brandserv a lot, because we like to communicate by sending out little notices about what's been updated and what's been added and things like that. And so you have the opportunity here to say no thank you or yes, keep me up to date with the latest additions. And so usually on Monday morning you might get an email and saying what's been added or what's been updated. And that's really about it in here. You can look through some of these things like my favorites, because we'll talk about favorites or hearting it as we go forward. The order section, this just sort of notifies you if you have anything hanging around that you maybe didn't address, like something that's in your cart that you didn't go all the way to fulfillment, or pending something that you haven't even put in your cart. So again, if we're looking at, you can look at your order history and your download history also here. If we're looking at just like it's online shopping, you're familiar with the cart, you're familiar with things waiting in line. So that's one of those things. And then of course our favorites are things we go back to over and over again. And I'll show you where those, where you can do that. We often use the little heart. We fill in the heart, make it our own, and make it our favorites. So you can see a couple that I have chosen to go back and forth with. And then, of course, the search functionality. And this can be very important if you're looking for particular assets and you don't know what it's called, or you don't know where it fits in. You can always come to the search functionality and put in what you think is logical. Like if I'm looking for holidays, then I can type in holidays. If I'm looking for small business shout outs or things like that, you can just type it right in and view all results or see the one you have. An update that just happened. We've had a couple of little updates that have happened in the last few weeks. Number one is just this week. Whereas if you've been in here before, you may have seen like April holidays and March holidays and so forth and so on throughout for the year, and they have consolidated them into one button, one tile. So that's a good thing, and it can be, if it's not what you're used to, then it's a little different. So we'll talk about it a little later if we have time. So because we're going to discover some other assets that we want to talk about. And then the other one is I will show you how we now have the ability to post directly to our Facebook account. And I'll show you where that appears. So then the last things are up here: campaigns, marketing assets, and resources. So these are where you can search. If that's the way you like to search, this is the way you can search. On campaigns, again, multi-level, lots of different channels, different assets that might fall under these titles like CB Good News or COVID or Global Luxury, Guiding You Home, Quotables, Recruiting, Spanish language options. If any of you are looking for the ability to talk to people in the manner they like to be talked in, then there are some, not a ton, but some Spanish language options. And if we have time, I'll go into that. St. Jude and video toolkits. Video broadcast is all the stuff they have, and this is where some charges may be included, because in order to produce it. Marketing assets are logos, photography, posters that you would print out. Social media, that's where we'll probably spend a lot of time. Videos and virtual meeting backgrounds. And then resources. This is really important, especially to people like me. I grew up as a graphic designer and production manager for an advertising agency. And identity standards, you may have heard that term, and guidelines are really important. And we don't like to turn a blind eye when it can get anybody and everybody in trouble with copyright infringement or correct use of protecting the brand. And that might include even your own brand, the brand of you. So guidelines are very important. So I will click into here just to cover it really quickly. And here is where you can find answers to just about everything. Of course, you can contact your marketing team or your SSAs and ask, but if you're poking around, then you might as well poke around here too. There's identity standards. It'll tell you what the color is, how to correct use of the logo, things like that. And if you're producing things like magnetic signs for your car or commercial big giant signs that you've put in a commercial property, this kind of information is very, very important. So you might check around and see what the deal is with disclaimers and things like that. Again, if you have any questions, you just break in and ask away, or you can wait to the end, or you can type it in the chat. So we are going to discover how to use these kinds of things. So again, I go in very logically and I say, okay, I want to look for market updates or listing updates, or I want to find things about selling my home on a listing campaign. So the skills I'm going to teach you are transferable to any of these items, okay? And it's basically parallel with shopping. If you go in, you need to figure out what size you are for a blouse or a shirt, whether you're large or medium or size 12, what color you might want, what style you might want, and that's what you're doing in here. Okay, so we're going to just actually go right straight in to showing you some of the assets. So I'm going to go to marketing assets, and I'm going to go to social media, and I'm going to go to posts. And so it's going to create a list, and all of this is searchable. You can see over here on the left, you can search by a title if you know a title, or if you think you know a title. If you're looking for any of these, obviously are social posts, and it puts this in alphabetical order, top to bottom, bottom to top, and in different looks. You can do it as a grid pattern or a panel like this. You will see some things right here that you can do. There's that favorite. So if you like this, when you go in and you say, oh, you're going to see it at numerous panels as we go through, and you can just click on that, and it's going to end up back up here. There it is. I heart clients for life. Easy peasy. Okay, so as I said, in shopping, we are going to have to fill out some information before it gives us the right thing and says whether it's even available for us to buy. So I'm going to go to something called Market Update. So this can be very useful. Some of them you're going to see in different shapes and forms, squares and rectangles and things. All can be used in different uses for all the different social media levels. So I'm going to go in here to Market Update Social Media Image with an image upload, because I promised you I was going to show you all the skill sets. Well, if I need to make the blouse my color, my shirt the right color, make sure it's all that, I need to customize it. So I always press on Customize. If I'm going to start the process of buying it, I need to make sure I put in all the information necessary. And as you can see, this is what it looks like. The gray area is implying a photo will be put in there. And then you have a lot of copy. So this is the stuff it's asking for you to fill out. It can be very short. In the way of holidays, it might just ask us for which one we're looking for and our DBA, and that's it. But here, as you can see, I dove into a more complicated one just so you can see the things that you need to add. Customization name, you can name it what you want. I will warn you that when you deal with things like holidays or some other features, then it may suit you if you're going to download them to name it so you can remember it. We always have that trouble. Oh my gosh, I downloaded the same file and there's a nuance and I don't recognize what the differences are. So it's always good to maybe rename this. So maybe Bob's update. Something so I can recognize it. I then am asked to add an image. So if I'm adding an image, I go here and click on the image and it goes to My Files. Now, as you can see, since I'm a marketing person and I deal with awards and all that kind of stuff, I've got lots of people's faces. So I can choose if one of these works for me, or I might be looking for something different. And so I might look for a house. I can use this file. We're all familiar with this dotted line. If you've ever been in Listing Concierge or anything else, all the same. I can choose a file or I can drag it from my desktop. So if I'm going to choose a file, I go to my photos or wherever I have it, and then I choose an image. Let's just say I'm going to choose a house. That's a good image to put in a real estate company. And so there it appears. It's outlined in light blue. That means that's the one I'm selecting. I can crop it, I can edit it, I can trash it, I can get rid of any of these that I feel I've already done my thing with them, and I can always get rid of them. You always need to make sure you have the rights to use any image I upload or you upload, not from Google. So I know marketing people, we are militant about that. So there it is, it appears. Now I fill in the rest. So I'm going to do Houston market. And I'm going to do February of 2021, because we're in March. Property type, single family homes, something to that effect. You can see the character count. And here's a point. Just because it says it wants month, date, range, you don't have to put the words February 2021. You could say market update. You could put what you want in here. It's just saying it has to have a certain amount of information. What that information is totally up to you. It does give us some pull down choices. Okay, maybe I'm going to show the average days on market and I'm going to say 27. I'm just putting in stuff. Average sales price, 356. Better put a $sign in front. And obviously you see the red asterisk. So, but then there's some that without. So I could put a lot of information, or I could just basically put in the amount of things that it's asking that you have to put in. Maybe 123, or whatever. You will see this on every asset. You will probably need to designate a DBA logo. For Texas, that is going to be CBR, and that's Coldwell Banker Realty. Coldwell Banker Realty is our DBA. Our brand is Coldwell Banker. Realty is our DBA. For those that used to be United Realtors, United Realtors was our DBA. Then you need to put, in this case, you need to put a little sourcing information. So that is maybe MLS data from March 2021. You may have to put a little information in there just saying where you got this. Where did you figure this out? Did you pull it from Cognos? Did you pull it from something, and put something in there? So I always have to check a mark saying I agree I have the rights to use the content that I have uploaded or put in here. And I immediately generate a proof. A proof is not something that we should be using for our end results. We're not going to publish that. We need to go through the process. So we're waiting for this to generate. And some of these things will start to turn blue. There it goes. So I can view the proof right here. And there's what it looks like. Now, some of you are going, oh my God, there's pink stuff there. Okay, pink is great for this purpose. It's telling us what we have entered and the choices we made, the copy we've added, and we need to make sure it's right. We're proofing it. So that's what proofing is. So if I see a mistake on here, or if I need to change something, or I want to add something, I need to edit it again. I click on the little X in the lower right corner, and then I can go here and edit it. If I'm fine with it, then I can move on in the process. If you click on edit, it will bring up the same thing I had, and I make the edits. So you see I have 2 items here, and you can see up here in orders that now my pending, this is the pending area, has 2 items, 1, 2. So I can make a decision right now that I can remove something, edit something, proof something, or I can move on, which means adding it to the cart. We've decided we want that purple shirt in a large, and so now we're adding it to the cart because we want to buy it. And again, these same skills for almost every asset in this Brandserv are the tools that you'll need in the process you'll go through. So here it is, you're viewing your cart. I can go back to shopping by adding new. I can go look for some other stuff, or I can delete this or save for later, or any of the other choices I'm seeing here. But if I want to go through the process to its finality, I then will place the order. I need to talk to the company and say, I've decided what I want. I'm going through with the order. Now, obviously, as I reminded you, most of this stuff is free, like 95% or more of the stuff is free. You don't have to pay a penny for it, but except for some video assets. So I get to the last order, my order receipt. You want to, check it over, and then I can decide how am I going to use this. And again, these steps are exactly replicable for everything in here. I see order options and distribute file. Order options, I can reorder the item. I don't really need to reorder this one. And I can view the details, which will go back to the basic information. What I want to do is, how am I going to be able to use this thing? So the first one I see is get file now. In the olden days, like 2 weeks ago, we only had the get file now, which means we were downloading it to our desktop. And then we would have to go into our Facebook and choose create post and grab the picture and then upload it. You know the process. So I could do that. I can hit get file now, and there it goes. It downloads it. That's why I put a name on it that I could recognize. Bob's Update. The new feature is distribute file, publish to social. Now, obviously, more coming soon means we hopefully will have other social media channels added here. But as of right now, we have Facebook. So all it will do is when you click on this, it will open a window and it will ask you for verification. You'll have to put your, oh my. I need to, let's see if I can get that down. Anyway, you'll have to take my word for it to keep the class going. But this panel will say, what's your password into Facebook? Because it wants to make sure and verify you are who you are. So, and then you've done this on other programs as well for to verify and so that you can then post to Facebook. If you're doing it in Instagram or some of the other channels that you want to use the same image, go ahead and do the file download and then use it as you will. Any questions so far? Now, when you do this, when you've ordered, this is what the order receipt is, you will get an email. And the email will look like this. So, dear Bob Albin, thank you for your order. In this case, I ordered a salesperson day last week. But this is what you would receive. And if you click on this, it will take you back to somewhere like this that you can distribute the file again. So the value of this is you can do this on your phone. So if you get your emails on your phone, so immediately on your phone, you could access this and distribute, publish to social while you're mobile. Obviously, I'm not showing that now because I'm on my computer. But that's the real benefit, is you can use this from a mobile standpoint. Okay. I need to move through some things pretty quickly. So you have different assets, a different post. I'm going to try to get this done in the next 5 minutes, so I'm not too long gone, but this is a lot of fun. So you can poke around to things. So maybe a listing interested in selling. Of course, I'm interested in selling. Interested in selling your home. So this is going to be sort of like the holidays, very simple in its thing. You see here, you can customize from here, you can favorite from here. I did that. Customize. So you see here, it only asks you a couple of questions. Do I want to rename it? Do I want to select which image I want? And the DBA logo, which is CBR. The same process. Now, one thing I want to note here, because of this particular asset, you see this box here, and it's got a blue arrow. The blue arrow allows you, if there's more than one option, you have those blue arrows, and you can change. You can say, okay, I like that green one, so I go over here to image, option, page 2, option 2. And that's the one I will be purchasing. Again, generate proof, check it, put it in the cart, place the order, and then distribute it. That's the 4 steps, really. Well, I guess 5th step would be the first one, which is customize. Customize, generate proof, put in the cart, place order, distribute. Okay? Any questions? A couple of last things I want to show you in the time we've got, to a few minutes we've got, is in marketing assets. We're all on Zoom meetings, and so some people have really good ones. So virtual meeting backgrounds are things you can acquire the same way. These are free. You can customize it with the DBA usually. So you can poke around here. I will note that if you choose, they will give you an option for a flipped version or a regular version. Obviously, we know that sometimes when we go into Zoom or other things, the backgrounds, if they have copy on it, seem to be backwards. So this, you have some options in here to manipulate that. I want to show you 2 other things, but I'm going to show it to you. So in our last minutes together. One is videos. So you have public video personalization, that paid stuff. If you've got questions on that, you can always contact your marketing team. Social media videos are free just like that. And so you can access all of these ready-made videos just like you would the static flat artwork for your holidays and things like that. And so you can poke around. There's one coming up. It's Happy St. Patty's Day or whatever. I can favorite it. I can just go straight and download it now. Okay. If I do that, then I will download it and I can accept download terms and download now. Oh, I want the social media. Great question, Taylor. Can I zoom in a little bit? Okay. Taylor asks, so this market data, you know that panel I was put with the days on market and anything like that, isn't populated in this tool. No, it isn't. It inspires you to actually find it out, but obviously you can find it out in a multitude of levels. You can go to excuse me, that's my Houston voice coming out. You can go to your local MLS and search for that data. You can look for it there's things you can find out from, say, market reports in Prospect Square. If you're farming an area, then possibly you already know some of those statistics that you pulled up in a market report. I hope that answers that question. But yeah, there's a couple of sources. If you have your title company or your mortgage associate may have some information that could be put in. Remember, it does not, you can make some alterations there and put the terms in the way you want it. I hope that answers the question, Taylor. So are there any questions left? So I hope you'll poke around here, find some time. I do want to sort of show you the end result here. Of the St. Patty's. Remember, when you download a zip file, you always want to go up here and extract it. Boom. And so then you can open up and actually use the asset. So I think I've covered about a bunch of stuff. Just in here, Spanish language, I told you I might touch on that. It will actually ask you what you want to say, and it will give you choices. For instance, on here, customize again, same process. It's going to ask headline language format, Spanish or a custom headline copy if you come up with something else in Spanish. And then I can choose, just listed, recién listado. And then you can do custom headline text, add an image, and the DBA of CBR, and then go through the process. So there's a lot of great information in here, no matter what metro you're in. Explore, ask your marketing team for any help. The last thing, obviously, I promised you was to show you the Help Center. It's always a good place to go. You have release notes for updates for things like we just talked about, the download to Facebook option and the holidays being converted to one location. Roadmap training resources, all sorts of things. So if you want to get really into it with customizing TV commercials, there's that option, FAQs, and so forth. So that's really it, everybody, for what we wanted to talk about. I took a few minutes extra, but I hope it was worth it. So I did the demo, and thank you. Thanks, everybody.